What's the difference between coaching and teaching, and what separates the two, and what makes a good teacher or coach? I want to give you my take in today's video. And stick around to the end where I'm going to show you our framework to coach your clients all the way into your high ticket offer. Here's how I think of it. I think of teaching as kind of more one way and coaching like a two-way dynamic. I think that good teachers are the ones that are more involved and coach their students through whatever they're learning. Or if you think of athletes, they can be taught how to do the technique or whatever sport, whether that's cycling or swimming. There's the communication to explain it, and then there's also the demonstration of the tactical skill. And think about this, I'd love to hear from you, like, what's one great teacher or coach that you've had in your life, and what is it about them that made them great to you that you now take on in your role as a coach or teacher? Then when it comes to coaching, I imagine it being, like I said, more of a two-way dynamic, two-way communication. If you think of a coach, in sports, I think of them on the sidelines at the Olympics, and they're dissecting every move and giving personalized feedback. When I imagine the teacher, it's like the lecturer at the front of the classroom talking, and sure, there is communication, but it's less than the coach who's like on the field with you, working through every individual move and dynamic and what can be optimized and adapted to reach the goal. I think about this in my career, that I coach people through their marketing, through growing their business, and I try to look at the difference between, am I teaching or am I coaching? Am I actually working with them through maybe their challenges or their pain points or the obstacles that they're facing? And if I were teaching, and sure, there's lots of opportunity for both, as the teacher, if I'm just, on video or in front of an audience where I'm providing the information, but not having the feedback coming back to be able to adapt my content to the individual, I think that there's a bit of a limitation there. I'm not saying that this is wrong, because especially when you're serving one-to-many, teaching may be the best option, but you can add elements of coaching maybe through Q&As or workshopping or hot seats with your clients or students. The best teachers and coaches, I believe, are the ones that have a deeper and meaningful relationship with their students or clients. They're the ones that, whether it's one-way or two-way communication, they're telling the stories. They're getting down to the root of why this matters, because I believe that stories sell, logic tells. And even if you're not selling financially, you're selling them on the belief for why this is important. I remember one of my teachers in high school, I hated chemistry. I remember bawling my face off at this chemistry test. I forgot the stoichiometry equation, and I was very hard on myself. The bell rang, all the students left the classroom, and I was here just staring at my paper, tears streaming down my face, and my teacher came over, and instead of giving me the answer, she told me the right story. She used like an analogy to remind me of what it was. And that was a way that, first of all, ingrained that into my memory, so that on the next test or wherever in real life I ever use that stoichiometry equation, never, I would still remember it. That emotion created a memory, which makes that information be retained a lot more than just providing information with no background to it. And I also really appreciate that teacher, because that teacher coached me through it. I think there's some back and forth. It's not that you're a teacher and not a coach, and that you're a coach and not a teacher. In that experience, in that moment, she coached me through it, and she could also see the deeper problem that I was experiencing. Why was I crying over a stoichiometry, chemistry, mathematical equation? Yes, because it's frustrating as heck, but there were also other personal things going on, and the pressure of all these exams and friendships in high school. My first high school boyfriend, the quarterback, broke up with me and dated a girl in grade 10. She was younger than us, and I was heartbroken, and my pressure to be perfect was now being relayed into my pressure to get this math equation right. And what was cool about that is that she could see through that and support me through this really difficult time. And like I said, it created the memory that allowed me to succeed there, but also the memory that I will always think of her as someone who changed my life in this very simple way. I'm going to share with you the switch that I made in my mindset from teaching to coaching. But before I do, have you subscribed to this channel yet? One of my superpowers is teaching you, helping you to grow your coaching business and sell high ticket. So make sure you're subscribed so you can get all of that information. When I first started my business, I was a social media manager. I was a service provider. So businesses would hire me. I would manage their social media. I would help them to grow their businesses on social media. But then I started to see the opportunity cost in only working one-on-one. Sure, there's tons of benefits of being able to work work deeply, more intimately with individual businesses, but there's also a lot of opportunity and possibility and transformation, both personally and professionally, in being able to teach and work with one-to-many. I knew I only had so many hours in a day that I could work one-on-one with clients, so I wanted to create courses and coaching programs. And that's where I see a little bit of the difference in how I can help people transform. In courses, I know that I can just be on video and I can be teaching things, kind of like how I am in this video, but then in the coaching programs, I can actually work with them more one-on-one or one-to-many in group settings, and even other people participating, maybe if they're not the ones in the hot seat, are still being coached through it because of what they're witnessing and observing and being part of that experience and conversation. And that said, even in your courses, if you're on video and just speaking to a camera, you can still have elements inside of your program where maybe you have Q&As, maybe you have hot seats, maybe you have strategy sessions, whether it's in a group or one-on-one. At every level of our courses and coaching programs, the higher up in the value ladder you go, the more access they get to coaching and to me. Of course, at the service level, that's one-on-one. In the coaching level, it's one-to-many with lots of one-on-one opportunities. And in the course, which is a lower investment, they're doing most of the work themselves, but they do have opportunities for Q&As and intensives with me. So if you look at the value ladder, it's like do it yourself, done with you, done for you. So like I said, in our course, we have Q&As and intensives where we can still provide our audience that access to being supported through their personal challenges. At the higher levels in our coaching programs, we've installed things like group coaching calls, one-on-one breakthrough strategy sessions in the hot seat, so other people are also watching for this laser coaching opportunity. And we've also done something where we allow our clients to send in their work that they're working on, whether it's a funnel or a video or anything for their marketing, where I can then send back a personalized video giving feedback and critiques and reviewing their work. And it's also helpful for the other people watching to see that feedback so they can apply it to their own. When we have these elements, it makes it a no-brainer because a lot of the time your clients, your students are gonna wonder, where am I getting the support? And sometimes they really want that personal attention, but also the benefit of being inside of a community where they can all support each other. The biggest thing is that your clients, your students don't wanna feel like they're going at it alone, but we want to make sure that your business and your time availability is scalable. So if you want to coach your audience all the way to your high ticket offer, I host a free private training that I think that you are going to love. And I'm actually going to give you access to my highest performing, most revenue generating campaigns that you can plug and play into your business and your YouTube channel to maximize lead generation and sales. So click the link in the video description below to attend our Hello to High Ticket training. The best teachers and coaches, I think, are the ones that have that interpersonal the ones that have that deeper. This is something that I wrote in my notes and my copywriter didn't write it in. Have the deeper relationships with their coaches,